All right. We are actually going to be recording this session as well. So if there's anybody who is unavailable to participate today, they will have the luxury of seeing it after the fact. There are no commercials that you have to fast forward through. So it should be a pleasurable experience. So we have about 15 people and myself on the call today. My name is Jonah Halper. We're going to get started now. Just again, to kind of lay some ground rules. I have everyone on mute for now, just because when you have 15, 16 people and you're dialing in either video or audio, there's going to be a lot of ambient noise, and I want to try to avoid that as much as possible. The format is simple. I'm going to talk, give a little bit of a brief overview on Charity for those who are not familiar with the kind of the function or the methodology and how it works. I'll keep that very brief. And then if you have specific questions on execution, Yehuda Kirsch, who is participating on the call, will be able to answer specific questions to the execution of the giving day. But I will kind of give you a kind of a 20,000 foot view of that. And then we're going to get down into the meat of it, securing your matchers. And then what we'll do is at the end, it's not a long presentation. At the end, I'll open it up for Q&A. And hopefully I'll be able to answer questions that you have on the call. And if something requires a little bit of a deeper dive, I'm absolutely available. Jonah, Jonah, at charity, CHARIDY.com. I am happy to help as well on elements of strategy and engaging and soliciting your donors at all levels. So I think what we'll do is we'll get started now. Now, I understand that we have a mix of people who are either watching the video and people who are just dialing in. The problem with just dialing in is you don't get to see the pretty slides. I will do my best to make it clear what you're seeing. And if you, of course, have any questions, shoot it in the chat box, and hopefully that will make life a little easier for you as I'll elucidate on something that you're not necessarily seeing. For those people who are on video, not only do you get to see the slides, but you also get to see my pretty face. So you're welcome. Alrighty. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, which really focuses on securing your matchers. Let me just pull this up here. Let me share my screen. I apologize. It takes me a moment here. Share screen. Okay. So before I get into the full mix here, let me give you kind of a 20,000 foot view of what we're doing. Basically, you are participating in a charity campaign, in a collective, a giving day. And the idea is very simple. You have a certain goal that each organization has independent of one another. If you are organization ABC, you have a goal of $400,000. It's different than another organization's goal. And you are drawing on your own donors. There is secondary value in the sense that you get some traction and some visibility and maybe even some giving from those people who are seeing it from a more global giving day approach. But the success and failure, but of course success, is going to primarily come from your own Rolodex. Your own resources, your own work, and whatever you put into it is what you will get out of it. I can tell you that I've been involved with a number of $1 million plus campaigns. That's primarily where I live, and I've seen a lot of other campaigns that Charity has done. And there's a reason why the success rate is perfect or near perfect. I believe it's perfect. It's very simple. You know before you launch your campaign that you are about 80% there. You're not leaving things to chance. You're stacking the deck with everything from your major donors to your mid-level donors to people coming out and making calls. And you are what you're doing is using Charity as a vehicle to inspire support around a specific campaign, this campaign. So even if they are annual donors, even if you have people who are giving to special projects, this as a special event is a wonderful opportunity for you to go back to people and say this is a unique event, a unique opportunity, and to give to this campaign. You have the basic structure of a charity campaign is you have 3 matchers or 3 up to groups of matchers, which means that if your goal, let's choose a nice even number, $400,000 is your goal, 300,000 of the 400,000 are coming from 3 matchers. If you can't get 3 individuals to give $100,000 each, you can have a consortium of matchers, people who are going to come together as one group, one set of match, in order to get you to that $300,000. So you have 3 of those. And then what happens is you start stacking the deck with a number of people who could give you anywhere between $1,000 and $10,000. These are the ones who are going to really give you the momentum, the ones who are going to give you the confidence to say, yes, this is a reasonable goal, because I think we've stacked the deck and we've got a number of donors who either have committed or orally expressed interest, or your go-to people. And then you have the influencers, the people who will come on day of, who will advocate and share with their network, and it'll give you visibility to a lot of new people. It'll give a visibility, it'll inspire those people who, even if they're middle-level givers, they'll see a myriad of posts and appreciations and accolades and testimonials over the course of the day that will get them fired up and to give, and maybe even give more than you anticipate. The success of charity we've seen is really in 2 main areas. One is it gets your existing donors to give more, which is very powerful. And then also it gets new people who are not giving to give. This is an opportunity for the people who have maybe either have been on the sidelines, have never given before, or people not even on your radar screen, but they're connected through people who are going to come out and volunteer. So that's more or less the structure. And then charity has a beautiful, beautiful structured template on marketing. They have beautiful design materials that you can leverage and use for your own organization. They have a timetable that they know is proven, that works, that will do everything from 48 hours before your campaign, 24 hours, launch time, 12, all throughout the campaign with every benchmark that you hit. And ultimately your goal, hitting your goal, and then maybe even doing a bonus round if you are going to go above and beyond your goal. There is a very structured strategic marketing plan, and that which usually takes the most amount of time and effort in planning, is the most time-consuming element of running a campaign, is developing the marketing strategy. You, in fact, just have to focus on getting the content and materials and making sure it's getting out to your audience. So fortunately, charity with doing by now probably well over 500 campaigns is able to basically spoon feed you the best practices on marketing this to your donors at all levels and on a certain timeline that we know works. Again, if you have any specific questions about the campaign structure, on how it works, the timeline, marketing materials, stuff like that, you are more than welcome to reach out to myself, Yehuda Kirsch, at Charity, any other wonderful managers at Charity. We've done a lot of these, and we're very proud of the work we've done, and the success that you have is going to be built on the best practices and successes of those before you. So feel free to reach out to us in that regard. I'm going to just minimize my screen just for a second because it doesn't afford me the ability to see if there's any conversations or anything going on in the chat window. 1 second, please. Okay, I think we're good. All right. Again, I will open up for Q&A at the end. I'm going to go run through now the most important piece of a charity campaign. If you can't get your matchers, these are your major donors, whether they're people who are already giving to your annual campaign or regular givers, and they are going to leverage their gift. You're letting them know that, look, we're going to be doing this campaign, and the $5,000 or $10,000 or $100,000 that you give will be going towards a match or a consortium, and get them to leverage it for the community. Or if it's a brand new gift, whatever the type of gift it is, these are the people who are going to bring in initially the 3/4 of the money that you are going to have as your goal, and you're going to use as the ability to tell people in the community that you're quadrupling your gift based on these 3 matchers. So we're going to focus on that piece because we find that the most difficult knowledge gap that people have is getting over the hurdle of saying, oh my gosh, I need to raise a lot of money and within a short time period. So my job here is to help you on the cultivation and solicitation of those major donors who in the world of charity, we call them matchers. So let me get into the presentation while I'm still sharing my screen. Okay, great. Let me move some stuff around here. Oh no, rats. Okay, hang on. Other things around here. Over there. There, go back. Here we go. Okay. So again, my name is Jonah Halper. I do a lot of consulting work with charity for their major campaigns, the major charity campaigns, $1 million plus usually. And my expertise and my background is development, fundraising, and marketing, primarily among new donor engagement and solicitation. So to take someone who has no connection and no relationship with your cause, get them inspired, and then their giving becomes a barometer of how connected and involved they are. Obviously, a $10,000 donor who once upon a time was a $100 donor is somebody who is definitely drinking the Kool-Aid. They love what you do. They're empowered by it. They are an advocate for your cause, and therefore their giving is a reflection of that. So what we're doing here is not dialing for dollars. Our goal here is to identify and solicit the ideal candidates to be your matchers. And we're going to focus on that today. And again, I'm happy to be of help with any individual organization as they're going through this process. So the first thing I want to express, so the different types of matchers. It's not just rich people. It's not just people, someone daddy Warbucks who's got a lot of money in their pockets. There are different types of matchers, and therefore how we handle them is important to draw the distinction between them and how to approach them. You have what we mostly know are individual donors, those people who are husband, wife, just a man, just a woman, whoever it is, an individual or a couple who give philanthropically of their money. They are generous. They may give you out of their own pocket, out of their own bank account. They may have a family foundation that they set up. But primarily, the conversation is happening between you, the representative of your organization, and individual donor or donors, husband, wife, whatever the format may be. So the importance of being able to sell one or two people is very important to know that you're only selling it to one or two people. You're not going in front of a board. It's not a corporation. There's not a lot of shareholders and not a lot of chefs in the kitchen. You're primarily dealing with one or two people. You have foundation donors. You may have foundations who give to you or you want to approach about giving to, but you understand that it's not just one or two people, that there is usually almost always an active board of a foundation, and they have certain kind of criteria or standards of what they fund, and you as an organization need to kind of fit within that realm. Just because you're running a charity campaign and just because you are an important organization doing important work doesn't mean that you will necessarily align with the foundation. So you obviously want to make sure that if you're going to approach a foundation, that there is a very logical and rational reason why you're approaching them, because when you do approach them, it'll obviously be within that context. And at the same time, you're not selling it to one or two people. There may be a number of people involved in clinching them as a matcher, and the time frame may be longer because of it. Another audience is corporate donors. These are companies that what we often call corporate sponsors or corporate partners. What's distinct about them is not only do they tend to have more than one chef in the kitchen, but they also have a brand and a look and a feel and a bottom line. So organizations that I've seen do it effectively recognize the image that they give across. One of the organizations I'm involved with is DoSomething.org. Non-Jewish organization that does teen engagement, was CEO Nancy Lovell, and now it's Aria Finger, and they do an impeccable job of doing two things. One is companies, retail companies, align themselves visually with the cause. So the cause is not a tired, ugly, embarrassing cause. It's something that Aeropostale or a company like that would say, I'm proud to show my brand, my logo alongside theirs. The other half of it is it has to make sense on the bottom line. An organization like Aeropostale is only going to get in bed with a charity like DoSomething.org if they see that it will draw more foot traffic into their store. If it brings young people into their store, then they'll see the value in the partnership. So it's not altruistic. It's not just for the sake of doing good. They have a corporate social responsibility arm, or they have a philanthropic arm of what they do that has to feed and support their bottom line. The bottom line is investing money in their product, market share, and returning on the investment to their shareholders. So it's an imperative that if you're going after corporate dollars, especially if it's a bigger company, that you align, whether it's a bank, whether it's a shopping center, whatever the case may be, you need to find an angle that will reflect both image and purpose that will give a company the desire to want to partner with you. So we have got individuals, we've got foundations, we've got corporations. All are fair as far as prospects go for Match Your Money. We'll talk about how to get in touch with them or engage them, but the other kind of foundational thing I want to talk about when we talk about who the audiences are is donors versus non-donors. You have people who are already very philanthropic, very generous to your cause. You have those individuals who've never given before. It may be people you have a strong relationship with. It may be people who are primed for a solicitation, but they've never given before. And the reason why I'm drawing the distinction is because there's something very important to understand, that when you go to somebody who is a donor, right, and whether somebody who's a non-donor, there's certain things that you have to know. One is they are not an ATM machine, right? The idea that you're going to them and saying, hi, can I have X amount of dollars? We're running a campaign. It's not compelling enough. And any donor, especially if they're a regular donor, if you go to them once a year and say, would you please give to our campaign, they give, and the next time you speak to them is 1 year later, then you're not treating them like a partner, right? If you're an investor, if we're going to use an investment or brokerage analogy, if I give you $10,000 and you're going to invest it in whatever stocks, bonds, whatever it is, that's when the relationship starts. You have a responsibility, whether it's quarterly, a Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, or a prospectus. Show me what my investment is doing so I feel good and confident that we are partners and that we're both growing and we're both making money. When you have somebody who is an existing donor of your cause, they are a partner in your cause. They're not just an ATM machine that you can go to once a year. So the imperative of making sure that you're going to people who don't feel like ATM machines for the charity campaign is very important. Because if you go to them and they have this feeling like you only come to them once a year and you say, I have a special project for you, your odds of success are going to be much lower than somebody who is viewed as a partner in your cause. That sounds obvious. But when you talk about a campaign like charity, which is going to leverage the community and going to leverage a primary gift that people should give above and beyond, those people want to feel like they're investors. They want to feel like they're partners. They're coming onto your side of the table to say, we are going to take this amount of money and accomplish great things. So you need to make sure that you're speaking the same language. Those people who feel like you come to them once a year and they just pay their tax and go, they're not going to respond as strongly to a solicitation for charity than somebody who feels like they're a partner in your mission and in your vision. And so again, this is just second slide explaining that the importance of a partnership is the fact that you know you're here now, you're at point A, and the reason why you're raising charity money is to get you to point B. You have a certain vision and growth and an idea of where you're headed. People don't want to fill holes. They don't want to just plug in gaps or make payroll. They want to know that they're investing in something for the long term. So being able to communicate that you give me your money and we as partners are going to go from point A to point B is a healthy way to raise money. And when you run this charity campaign, it's going to function the same way. And you'll hear as we get a little bit further down about a pitch or what to convey when you meet to a potential donor. We'll talk about that in more detail. So the $64,000 question, and sometimes I mean that literally $64,000, is where do you find matchers? Where do you find money? And the truth is that this question really is where do you find any major gift money? And the answer is through your existing network. I mean, the reason why, and you know, if you're already doing fundraising, it's much easier to go to people who are connected to your organization, whether they're board members, whether they're staff members, whether they're people who come to shul, or somebody who is, a volunteer and gives you some of their time. Those people are in your inner circle, and the ability for you to expand that reach through your existing network is going to be the best way to build a pipeline. Can you get lucky with a cold call? Absolutely. It's the equivalent of going to a bar and hopefully meeting your bashert, hopefully meeting the one who's meant to be. You have the chance of meeting the right person, but your odds are much better if you're going through your existing network and going through word of mouth and people who say, oh, I think you should get in touch with this person. So it's absolutely important for you to take stock and say, who is in my network? And this can be everybody from existing donors, friends and family, volunteers, board members, staff, neighbors of you, where you live, your community, neighbors of your actual organization, things like that. Or let's say there is someone who is on your board and they are a sponsor of a country club golf outing every year. What other sponsors of that golf outing are there? Do you have a relationship with this board member of yours? How can you reach out to them? But you're using your existing network to expand that. Now, obviously, if you're under the gun, you don't have the luxury of saying, well, let's go after new people now and hopefully get a matcher. Hopefully, you have some people that you've been dealing with over some time and saying, these are people on my radar screen. I reached out to them. I've been to their office on a number of occasions, but you understanding that your matchers are going to come from your existing network is the only way to develop a real pipeline of prospects and for you to be able to ultimately solicit them. If you want to, take a 1 in 100 shot and go after a big fish, then, you're all the more welcome, but you're going to spend a lot of time and effort for a very low percentage of success. So the question is, who should approach these prospective matchers? So you know there are people who are good potential matchers. They may be individuals, maybe foundations, they may be companies that you know that are connected to your cause, your board members. I would suggest that step number one is for you to develop a strong Excel sheet or database of prospective donors. That means take your existing network, say who would be a qualified prospect of existing donors, non-donors, people who are individuals, companies, and foundations, people who are through my existing network, and develop a strong, robust list, because you're going to have to be methodic instead of just saying on every day, oh, who can I think of? The more of a comprehensive list, you come up with a list of 30, 40, or even 10 or 20 prospective donors, then your odds of getting 1, 2, or 3 of them are very high, or much higher than would be if you were just kind of be shooting darts in the dark. So you identify, you have a pool of people. So the question is, who should approach these prospective managers? Now, it sounds obvious, right? If you are the executive director, or if you're the development director, it sounds like it should be a slam dunk. Me, I'm the development director, the executive director. But you might not be thinking of the full picture. There might be other people that you should bring on board. For example, if there's somebody who brought this potential donor or existing donor into your cause, if the same way you reached people and you got new donors through your existing network, one of those people from your existing network might be the right person to bring along with you. If John Doe introduced you 6 months ago or a year ago to some major nursing home owner, and now you want to approach that nursing home owner for a matching gift for a charity campaign, why don't you bring that John Doe who made the introduction? A, it makes the solicitation much more natural and at ease because it's a common friend sitting at the table. And B, it gives you credibility. And C, the solicitation is going to happen more organically when the friend's there in the room and they're on the same page as the cause. So to think about who can you bring to this meeting with you that could add credibility and comfort and ease is something that bringing a friend of this major donor to the meeting might be advantageous. Another type of person you might want to bring is the expert. If you're dealing with at-risk kids and you have somebody who's an authority on the subject matter, whether it's a respected psychologist, whether it's somebody who's been doing it for 20 years, a specific rabbi in your community, and this person agrees with you to go to a matcher, it adds a certain gravitas and credibility to your cause that you might not have if you just went by yourself as an executive director. So the ability to go with somebody who can express the mission and the vision of the cause and say how important it is to get this matching money for this campaign in terms that will move, like kind of pull the heartstrings or move the potential donor, is something that's very powerful and something that could be leveraged if it's appropriate. Another person you might want to bring is the CEO or the top position. If you're the development director and there's an executive director at your organization, it might be appropriate to bring them. Or if you have the president, the lay leader, or the top lay leadership position, president or vice president, to also attend that meeting, to go to the meeting to add, again, credibility, gravitas. So this is not just a lightweight ask. You're making a serious ask, and you're bringing the right people, the serious people, to show that you mean business. So it's another good angle to think about what other leadership can sit at the table with this potential matcher to solicit that gift. But I always want to add one caveat to this. Obviously, you have to use your own judgment. If you think of you bringing a friend or the CEO or an expert in the field, that's fine, that's great, and that might be the way to go. But if you think that it's not appropriate or the person won't take kindly to it, then you need to use your own judgment. I mean, this is just how it works. In the business of people, nothing goes exactly by textbook. So you have to be able to use your own judgment if it's appropriate. Now, we're talking about getting the meeting. When you get on the phone with this potential matcher, you do not want to be desperate. You don't want to run through your whole pitch. You don't want to be able to seal the deal on the phone. Your goal is to get an in-person meeting. Does it take more time? Yes. Could it be inconvenient because you have to get in the car and drive half an hour to the meeting? Yes. Is a chance of success higher if you get an in-person meeting? Absolutely. It is much harder to say no to somebody, and it's not a bullying thing. If you sit across from the person, you believe in the cause, and you speak with passion and what the money is going to do on the ground, and you express the power of a charity campaign and what it will do for the community, it will become much more compelling if you are sitting face-to-face with somebody than if you're doing it over the phone. So your only goal when you pick up the phone and make an appointment is to get that meeting. Now, when you're getting that meeting, obviously the question you get is, well, when the person asks me on the phone, why do you want to meet with me? You can't be coy or you can't be dishonest. You're not doing a bait and switch and saying, hey, I just want to get together and catch up. And then when you get in the meeting, you go, hope everything's well. Great. I want to tell you about this matching campaign that we're doing through charity, da-da-da-da. You can't do that because that's dishonest. You have to be upfront at the beginning. What you can say is something very simple. Say, we have this really exciting opportunity that will really take us to another level of the organization. I'm not, no expectations in the sense that, I'm not asking, right now on the phone. I just want to tell you a little bit about it, share about what we're doing, and maybe we can get your help, or maybe you can point us in the right direction or give some advice. But to get them to open the door with a kind of a low barrier of entry, I'll come to your office, 20 minutes or 30 minutes in your office, I'll bring a cup of coffee or something to that extent. But the idea is to get the meeting. That is your sole and one purpose to get in the room. The other piece of this is that when you get to meet with somebody, you may want to think about being a little bit more versatile about where you're meeting. You don't have to be meeting in their office. If it's the most convenient and comfortable, then great. If their home is the most convenient and comfortable, fantastic. The goal is to do it in the most convenient and comfortable place. There's a saying in the endowment world, when someone leaves a legacy gift, a big gift to an organization that'll be invested and spins off money annually, they say that the most endowment asks happen on the golf course. And that makes a lot of sense because it's relaxing. It's something that's comfortable for the donor. It's an opportunity to schmooze. And the idea that business deals or endowment gifts where big things happen on the golf course makes a lot of sense. So you just have to, again, use your judgment to say, where is the best place to do this? Who's the right people to do this with? And ultimately make sure that this is a comfortable and a wonderful experience for your potential donor. So now the most important piece, we're going to talk about the actual pitch of a charity campaign. And it's actually very, very simple. But the most important thing is to not go into the mechanics of a charity campaign. You may feel the urge because for a lot of donors, a charity pitch is different. They've never been asked to do a charity campaign. And therefore, you're going to feel like I should really explain what a charity campaign is because they don't know what it is. And if I don't explain that, then they're going to be not on board with this. No, that's not the first thing. The first thing you want to do is talk about the impact the money is going to have. Say you have a unique opportunity that could bring an additional $400,000 into the organization that wasn't there last year. And to talk about what that money is going to do for your organization is what's going to sell. This is how it works in regular solicitations. When you go in there and say what someone's gift is going to accomplish, then you get the person's juices flowing. You get them inspired. You get to say, okay, well, I understand the impact. I understand the implications of what $400,000 will do for the cause. How are we doing it? Or what's it going to take for it to happen? And they're still judging. They're still trying to decide if this is the right thing for them. But now you've framed it in a way that you're emphasizing your product. Your product's not charity. Your product is your mission, what you're going to accomplish with your cause. The marketing and the manpower and the money is going to come from charity. But the mission is going to be your cause. And the first thing you need to do is discuss the mission, not the method. Talk about the impact, the return on investment of that charity money is going to have. The second piece is leveraging the potential of this gift. When you say to them that this is going to bring in $400,000, and because of your gift, because of the way charity works, and going to explaining how 3 matchers are going to inspire the community to rally around this campaign and because they know they can quadruple their gift and inspire their friends and bring new money in and get increases from existing donors, that's powerful to a potential donor. Because the average donor in the average solicitation has a very one-directional linear experience. It's, hi, can I have $10,000? This is what it's going to do. Thank you very much. Have a good day. What this is saying is that it's not just $10,000. This $10,000 can become $40,000. And it's not just the dollars and cents. It's taking our existing donors and getting them to give more to create, hopefully, a new baseline of support. If someone gives me an extra $100 or $500 or $1,000 to the campaign, you could tell his matcher that hopefully in a year from now, we'll maintain that gift and it'll be a new baseline of support for our campaign. And two, the new money that comes in, even if it's 50 donors or 60 donors out of 800 donors who are new, that's new money. That's new money, a new $18 gift, a new $10 gift, that if they are people who have the potential for capacity or potential for getting involved in your cause, these can become lifers. These can be people who are moved, and if you do proper follow-up, can be an absolute inspiration. We work, my firm, we do a lot of consulting with organizations that have done charity campaigns who said, we've got now a whole myriad of people who have either increased or are new donors. How do we engage them? So it's a very powerful experience that you can explain to a matcher that you are leveraging their gift. To the other matchers, it may inspire, if this is matcher number 1 and number 2, it might inspire the third matcher, and it'll absolutely inspire existing and potential donors in the community. The next thing you want to convey is the contingency approach to charity. This is what creates a sense of urgency. The idea that a campaign is A, all or nothing. If we don't hit the $400,000 goals, everything was just pledges. None of the payments go through and you're done. No money goes through. It is contingent on hitting the $400,000 goal or whatever goal you have in your community. The second half is 24 hours. That's it. Can I give a 12:01 on the second day, 24 hours and 1 minute? No, it's locked out. You cannot make a donation at the end of the 24 hours. You're done. So those 24 hours is the only time that someone can make a gift. It's all or nothing, and it's that 24-hour span, and you're leveraging a gift. That's very powerful and very compelling. The last thing, and the reason why I emphasize this is last, is because different people resonate to this at different levels. Some people like to understand that there's recognition. The fact that if I'm a matcher and I'm inspiring and my name's in lights and I'm seeing the impact in the community and all the visits to the website, and it's got either my company name on it, my foundation name on it, or even my own family name on, and I want to do it in memory of somebody and I put that stuff on there. It's very compelling for a lot of people. They like the cover, they like the honor. And if you have the ability to show them, you don't have to be right on the nose about it, because some people can sense if you're trying to hit them with a flattery and saying we can promote your name in lights. But if you can show them a live campaign, charity is always running campaigns. And even if it's not a live campaign, you show them a past campaign and they can see what the page looks like, and show them how the matcher money is at the top, and then how when people give, it moves up the matcher money and the community money until everything's 100%. It's a very moving and powerful experience, and that recognition and the community involvement is a compelling piece to that. So again, the pitch, when you meet with somebody, focus on the mission, on the impact. And then you'll focus on the charity elements of leveraging a match, the fact that it will inspire other matchers in the community to give either increase or new money. Contingency, it's all or nothing, and it's only 24 hours. And then community recognition, the fact that this is a tremendous way to advocate for the cause. It creates recognition for the donor, creates recognition for the community. It's a very powerful way to showcase your cause in a very finite amount of time. So now you said, hi, would you give me $100,000? Or if it's a consortium of donors, you may have asked, if they're one of 3 people, you might have asked them for $33,000, $333 or something like that. You might, whatever the point may be, whatever the ask is, they're going to answer. So let's say the answer is no. Now, if you're in the business of fundraising, you're used to handling rejection. So I would imagine there are some people on this call who have development experience, and you have to be comfortable with rejection. Because remember, you're not getting a no for you. You're not asking them for money for your own pocket. You're asking it for your cause. So there's no reason to ever be ashamed when you get a no. It's not a personal affront to you. But don't take no at face value. Obviously, no means no if they vehemently have a reason for it. But a lot of times they'll say no. And it's important for you to unpack the no, find out what the reason is. And you can do it in a way where it isn't aggressive, saying, no, why not? What's the reason why you're not going to give me the money? There's absolutely great ways that you can do it that are constructive for the cause, and the donor will understand and appreciate why you're asking. If someone says no, you could say, I understand. And you can say, what's not compelling to you? A, because I need to figure out what it is that's going to take for me to be compelling when I go to other matchers. So your feedback is absolutely appreciated. And maybe there's a way that we can change the terms that makes you say yes. What's the reason why are you saying no? So the no could be a number of reasons. It could be they don't know charity, or I don't know about this whole charity thing. It sounds like a gimmick. I'm not sure. The idea of them not feeling comfortable to be one of the primary people is understandable. You might be able to say to them, okay, you know what? If I get 2 other matchers, will you be the 3rd matcher? And that might help the donor see who the other 2 matchers are and say, wow, they're serious people. I know these people. They're in my community. I know they're the real deal. You might be able to just give them more information about charity, show them of other successful campaigns with respected causes and the donors. Sometimes they just need to get a better handle on what charity is. So getting back from no might just require you to do a better explanation or give them more clarity on what charity is. Sometimes they may say, I want to be involved. I do not want to be a matcher. It's not for me. So you might be able to say, understood. When we have the 3 matchers and we're starting to line up middle tier donors, and obviously whoever your campaign manager is at charity will help you do that. But the idea is for you to stack the deck with donors who give between $1,000 and $10,000. Can I come to you for maybe a $10,000 gift a little bit later once we get things rolling? And they might say, absolutely. They might say 10, 20, 30, whatever the number is that you think makes sense, what you're going to solicit them for. They may be a middle tier donor. Or they might be in the bonus match. They might say, I don't want to do this, but if you hit your goal of $400,000, I'll give then. Or you may say, look, I know you don't want to give now, but how about if we hit our goal, would you do a 1-to-1 match for anything above the $400,000? So that might be another way to do it. And sometimes you just have to understand that you're not going to get a yes at the meeting. A person's going to need time to consider. They might say, not necessarily no. They'll say, let me think about it. And if they say, let me think about it, which is very common, you could just say to them, that's fine. Explain that there's a finite amount of time, especially if you're doing a giving day, you're on someone else's schedule as well. Explain what the schedule is and give them a real deadline. Say, look, I need to line this up by next Thursday. So by Monday, do you think we can have a follow-up conversation? I can address any concerns you may have and hopefully get your participation then. So they'll say, absolutely, sure, Monday it is. But get a real deadline, a firm date, so that you can follow up with them. Because if they are a no, you've got to keep looking. You've got to find other donors to get on board to be a matcher. And that's it. I'm now going to open it up for Q&A. If you give me a moment, please. I'm going to unmute. Pardon me. There we go. I'm going to unmute all. So if you have the ability to make sure to be quiet or unmute yourself or mute your own local phone, that would be helpful. If I find certain people are certain noisy and I can identify you, I will mute you again, but don't take any personal offense. All right. So we've got approximately 16 people on this call. I am available for any questions you have regarding the slides, regarding specific protocol on procedure on how to run a campaign. I would recommend you reach out to Yehuda Kirsch after the call. Again, my email is jonah@charity, CHARIDY.com. And I can answer questions there. Okay, but I'm going to be opening it up for questions. And feel free to ask away. Just say your name and the organization you represent before you ask your question.
Hello, my name is Mattis from the Center in Miami, Florida.
Hi, Mattis. How are you?
Thanks. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Question, and I'm guessing there's, it just depends on the situation, but I just wanted to get your opinion. You have a potential matcher on the line, or you have the meeting with them. They're not willing to be a matcher. At what point do you start diluting the match and say, well, will we be a half matcher? Will we be a quarter matcher? At what point do you just say, you know what, will you give X amount on the day? In other words, how far down do you
All right, so what I would say is the way what you'll find is if you're creating a pipeline of, I'm going to mute everyone for a second while I answer the question, then I'll unmute everyone. Hang on a second. Okay, so basically the answer to your question is it's fluid, of course. Obviously, only you or the people in your organization will know when the exact right time is to adjust, et cetera. But I think what you'll find is that if you develop a proper pipeline of potential matchers, and you get a kind of a good 360-degree view of who's on the table as a potential matcher, you'll be able to kind of be a little bit more surgical and say, okay, hold on. So this person isn't really comfortable being a matcher, but I've got these 2 other people. maybe I can play them off each other and say, hey, look, I've got David, who, they'll come in halfway. Would you do halfway? You go, it's still a little steep for me. I could do a 1/3. Oh, okay. Well, hang on. Let me, I'll call you back in a few hours. I might have a third person that could be divided 3 ways or something along those lines. But those kind of scenarios will be clear to you if you have a good pool of people to draw from, because then you can, determine if you've got some real prospects that you can go to and at what level. And you'll be able to determine which relationships you can play off. These 3 people know each other. Those 2 people know each other. These 5 guys play poker on a Thursday night. Whatever the case may be, you'll be able to get a more of a surgical approach on the best way to pitch them. Does that?
Yeah, it does in part. I guess the second part is, so we're doing a campaign for $100,000. So a 25,000 would be a matcher. Does it get to a point where you say, I could put 10 people in to get that match, or once it gets past for 3, just move on and don't.
Yeah, so I would say, look, the fewer the matchers, the better. And I'll tell you, it's just a common sense thing, because when you get to your middle tier donors, if you're using all your middle tier donors to support 3/4 of your campaign, who's left? So the idea that you ideally want to try to get as big of a gift as possible from as few people as possible, because then it will give you individual solicitations that can help stack the deck, for the rest of the campaign.
Gotcha. All right, great. Thanks.
Sure. Next.
It's a new fresh start. Also, before she gets to anywhere, you start dealing with things
Any other questions?
Without the old brand, without the old.
Okay. So it sounds like majority of people here have no further questions at this time. Again, you can reach me at Jonah, Jonah, like Jonah and the whale, Jonah at charity, CHARIDY.com. You can email me there. Yehuda Kirsch, I believe, is ykirsch at charity.com. Actually, I'll verify that. Right. Yehuda, are you on the line right now? How do you spell your name?
Yes, I'm still here. Yeah, ykirsch, KIRSH at charity.com.
Okay, excellent. Yehuda, is there anything else that we need to cover, or are we pretty much good for today?
I think we're good for today. Please, guys, reach out to your fundraising specialist to make sure that you have the marketing workbook and that you have it, that you're going through the flow, the graphics, everything that you need to run the campaign.
Excellent.
Hi, this is Arya Young. I just want to thank everyone for making the time for these initial steps, and look forward to working with everyone on my end as well. And please God, I'm looking to put out the first press release tomorrow, the 4-week date until the campaign, and I'm hoping to send, and no one hold their breath, but the first few communal solicitations are going to go out tomorrow as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you. All right, all the best, everyone.
Have a good day, everyone.